Hey creeps! So day 3 was intense. As you can tell, the sun's still up because I was so tired I had to come back to my hotel room early. And they upgraded me, so I wanted to enjoy the view. So I started my day off really early by taking the ferry out to Manly, which is where Quarantine Station is, which is where the conference that I came here to be in was supposed to be. Of course, that got canceled, but you guys already know that story. So I needed to see this place because it is a quarantine station. Like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of people went there to die. So obviously I had to go check it out for you guys. I get lost, I get scared. It's quite an adventure, so check it out. Chin chin. Okay, so today's gonna be fun because we're leaving the city. We're going over to Manly. We're taking the ferry to Q Station, which is Quarantine Station, which is where they brought all their sick and dying. Also where Paracon was supposed to be, and we're checking out the cemetery, so excited. Ferry ride to Manly was amazing and beautiful, but I am starving and I need food and I need coffee ASAP. So I am going to local favorite, the Belgrave Cartel, for breakfast. Okay creeps, so this is a really exciting moment. So we are walking down the road to get to Quarantine Station, which is where Paracon was supposed to be. But the history behind Quarantine Station is this is where if you were an immigrant coming to Sydney, you were sent if you were sick. Also, a lot of citizens were sent here, but basically the whole point was to quarantine the sick so the major population wouldn't get sick. So over the course of it being open, and it opened in 1834 and closed in about 1980 something, almost 30,000 people stayed at Quarantine Station. Now, a lot of them died. 600 of them, for sure, in fact, died. They died of smallpox, typhoid, Spanish influenza, cholera, you name it. They were sent here to die, including the bubonic plague. Now, a lot of people that died here were the nurses that were tending to the sick. And so obviously you have all this history, you're gonna have a lot of ghost stories, and it has so many. In fact, this is considered one of the most haunted places in the world, not even just in Australia, but in the world. And it's freezing and it's windy, and for whatever reason, the bus doesn't let you off anywhere close to it. But we're gonna explore it. We're gonna see where these people died. We're gonna check out the only cemetery that's still left here, including some of the headstones that were salvaged from the other two. And I'll tell you guys about some of the ghosts that are known here. And I thought, here's an interesting fact really quick. If you were on a ship arriving to Sydney and even just one person was sick, the entire boat, everyone on the boat had to be quarantined. And when you were sent to Quarantine Station, you had to be here for at least 40 days. Or, you know, then you get to go home. But a lot of times, you died. Yeah, just nothing creepy at all about walking down Isolation Road by yourself. I haven't seen a single person since I entered the property. So, you know, just a little terrifying. Now making my way through the former isolation precinct, which is basically, if they didn't know exactly what you had yet as far as an infectious disease, they would keep you here for a couple of days under observation to make sure they knew what you had, and then you would go into quarantine. So there's about 60 people to a ward here. So yeah, and I'm just wandering by myself. Not creepy at all. It appears as though I am severely lost. I have no idea where I am right now. I have no idea how to enter the main section of this or how to do a tour. I'm literally just wandering around a quarantine camp. So cool, perfect, of course. That's what happened to me. Obviously, I'm not freaked out at all. So where I am currently lost is the hospital district, which is, or precinct, not district. And this is where they treated all the people with infectious and contagious diseases. They also have the doctors and nurses quarters, and apparently something to mention about this is that the doctors and nurses were kept very separate in their living quarters. So they didn't want anybody having sex. Who knows? I have no idea. I'm lost and I'm just slightly freaked out. It's fine. Only one of the most haunted areas of the entire quarantine. That's awesome. Perfect. Let's go down this creepy path and see where the hell it takes us. Look at this. This isn't ominous. Good news, I found the people, and I also found these amazing carvings from the people that stayed here, all the quarantine people, the sick people, the people who were stuck here. Found some awesome carvings in the sandstone. Check these out. I found the headstones. There is no tour for us to take today, so I am going to brave walking around this place completely by myself, and I'm going to try to see what we can see in through the buildings, maybe in the buildings if I find a way in. And yeah, let's just still explore this creepy ass place. So I'm currently in one of the inhalation chambers. Basically, a couple times a week, about 40 people were loaded into rooms like this, and for 4 minutes they breathe in a solution of 1% zinc and steam trying to get the Spanish influenza out of them or prevent them from getting it. Would it have worked? I don't know, but it's pretty intense to be in one of the rooms right here, knowing that it would have been so cramped with people all breathing in this stuff. Crazy. Okay, so I'm currently in one of the autoclave buildings, and you can see all of that. You would have had luggage that would have been put through these autoclaves, and they would have been busted with the solution to basically disinfect them. They were trying to kill any disease, any kind of germs, anything before entering the site, because they must be as clean as possible. Look at that. So they would have been loaded into that, sealed in the vault, and then disinfected. Kind of cool. All right, guys, I am currently in one of the most haunted parts of Quarantine Station. This is the first class shower block. When you came in here to take a shower, you didn't take an ordinary shower. Like I said, they want you to be clean. They are trying to kill any germs. So it was actually a solution of carbolic acid that they would be showered in. So pretty awful. But look at these. You would have stood in one of these, taken a shower. So basically, I will stand where many have stood before me and been showered from carbolic acid. This is terrifying, and I'm not even kidding. This place is really something else. Like, it's just, yeah, it's alarming. It's really alarming. It had to be awful. Like, it really had to be awful. And there's like a legit heaviness in this room that I can't really describe. I don't know. Like, when I walked in, it feels like you're walking through Jello, if that makes sense. So in order to show you guys more of Quarantine Station, I have to climb all of those stairs. Not looking forward to it. It used to be a wagon because they used to pull the luggage up that, and there used to be a way to transport things, but now I have to use my legs and walk up like a million stairs. So I'm doing it for you guys. Not looking forward to it. It's not gonna feel good. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck. My quads are gonna be so lit. Does running help? Okay. I'm filming this entire thing. You guys need to know how painful this is. Apparently there's buses that take people around this place. I don't know how to get on one of them. I don't understand anything. Oh, look at that. You can see? Look at that. That's nice. Okay. Okay. I had French toast this morning. I'm working it off. Five more. This is not a joke. We're not kidding. We're not laughing. Never do this. Last one. We did it! Okay, so this is Main Axial Street, or Avenue Street. This ran right through the first class precinct because just like with anything else in the back in the day, everything was separated into a class system. So even if you were quarantined and you were first class, you're gonna have a better go of it. So people would play ball, they could drive vehicles. It was more of a lively place to be. Not probably as bad as some of the other areas, let's be honest. So winded from those stairs. So another luxury of the first class quarantine patients, victims, captures, kidnapped people, whatever you want to call them, got to have, besides like, you know, a sewing room and a bar and stuff like that, they also had a telephone room, which if you can imagine at the time, if you could actually make a phone call out to a loved one and be like, hey, yo, I'm quarantined, this shit sucks, that would have been awesome. I have to kind of say though, if you had to be quarantined anywhere, having a view of the water like that wouldn't be so awful. I mean, granted, you're probably gonna die, but at least you look at something pretty before you go. Here's something kind of cool. Right behind me is one of Sydney's first reservoirs. They started doing reservoirs because of smallpox. They wanted a more reliable, healthier, non-contaminated water source, and you're looking at one of the first ones. Pretty cool, huh? Continuing my ridiculous journey, walking a million miles through basically the bush to get to a cemetery. Hopefully there was one at the end of this, because I'm about to die. I found it and it's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the third quarantine cemetery, the only one left. Look at this. Overlooking Sydney, over in the distance, overlooking the harbor. It is just breathtakingly beautiful and peaceful. Thank you. Some nice Australians helped me find where this was because I was 100% lost. Thank God for Aussies. Look at this. Truly, truly awesome. This whole thing makes me so sad because it's incredible that there is this cemetery left, but it's one of three, and this is the only one that's left. All those headstones we saw back at the station, I don't even know where those bodies are. And there are so many people that were in unmarked graves. So many people died. They didn't know who all of these people were. Now I basically have to walk a mile back to a bus stop where I have to wait for the one and only bus that comes like once an hour. Then I have to take the ferry, which comes like once every half hour. Then I have to walk half a mile to a train station. I'm not exhausted. So as you guys can tell, this wine is super well deserved. I walked my ass off. Not literally, I wish, but I walked miles and miles and miles and miles for you guys to go and check out these locations, and it was so worth it. And what I wasn't expecting is how spread out Quarantine Station was. Like, it's all on this bluff side overlooking the harbor. Absolutely beautiful, but I just didn't expect it. I guess I pictured kind of like, this is gonna sound awful, but almost like a concentration camp where everything's very close together. And this was kind of spread out and almost kind of luxurious. It was like these cute cottages, and it was just not what I expected. And I can't say if it felt all that creepy to me. The shower room, the shower block was terrifying. I was really uncomfortable in there. And I have to be honest, walking around that property by myself when I didn't see anybody for the almost 2 miles, I thought I had entered in some weird apocalypse. Like, I'm like, okay, obviously I took a wrong turn somewhere. This is a little bit terrifying. So that was an experience. And then visiting the cemetery was something I'll kind of never forget. Waverly Cemetery is gorgeous and incredible, but this one feels forgotten. It's so overgrown. A lot of the graves say died in quarantine, and so many of them were so young. That's what really struck me. There's a lot of children. There's a lot of young people. Like, I think I saw maybe 2 graves that had anybody over 40 years old. So it really kind of puts things into perspective. I feel really honored that I got to visit it. It was definitely worth the miles that I walked to get to it. it was just really kind of an incredible day, kind of an incredible find, an exhausting day, but worth it. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to the channel, keep watching the weird, enjoy wine always, frequently, every day, every second, whatever you want. Chin chin creeps.